welcome to today's video. I'm the Hooded Lid, and today I'm going to revisit a video I did a few days ago. Michelle Wong made me buy this Surratt Dew Drop Foundation, and I got a lot of comments from one person in particular about everything that I was doing. So I wanted to revisit this. Also, I've had the opportunity to use this several times, and I have developed more of an opinion, although probably not a final opinion. So this is Dew Drop. It's $75, and it comes in a very strange component. And you depress here to get this out. This is said to be a skin-like dewy finish that offers light to medium coverage depending on how much you put on your face. And that's pretty much their claims. I could read it to you, but, well, I will, but it pretty much says what I just said. Enter the spectacles. Experience natural looking coverage with a dewy, hydrating finish with Dew Drop Foundation from Surratt Beauty. The unique delivery system lets you build up to the perfect level of coverage, drop by drop. Seriously, I'm on Beautylish, and that's what they're saying. That's the product description. Why is it special? Innovative, fine-tip dropper packaging delivers the optimal amount of coverage every time you apply. Formulated to feel lightweight and natural on the skin while creating a lasting dewy finish. How to use. Depress the dropper. Dispense 2 to 3 drops of foundation onto the back of your hand. Use a dense foundation brush to sweep product onto the skin, starting in the center of the face and blending outwards. Okay, nothing crazy going on here. Here's the deal. I don't like using a brush to apply my foundation. I really, really prefer to use my fingers, and I find it's appropriate nearly always. But I'm going to, for the sake of science, go ahead and apply like this. I had said in my first video that I didn't have a problem with this at all. It dispensed fine. The second time I used it, dispensed fine. Even the third, and it was yesterday when I did this, really had a problem. I was trying to do this way with both hands, and both hands trying to cup into my hand because it was depressing all the way and nothing was coming out, which was so much fun for me. I would say that if you are arthritic, if you experience swollen hands for any reason, if you have any kind of disease or ailment that affects your dexterity, you're not going to enjoy this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to shake it. Now let's talk about the texture, because I said the texture was very, very thin, but it's not very, very thin. I want to show you very, very thin, okay? This is something you can't get anymore at Sephora, but it's still around. It's the Dior Nude Air, and it is a gorgeous serum that you must shake up. And it is watery in every single way, which of course a serum would be. And voila, quite watery. So it's not as watery as this, but I take a look at, for instance, the Reboot or the Kogan Dough. These are thicker in their nature. And it's a little bit runny. But there's something about it. It's as if there is a cushiness to this, and there is hydration built in. Now, there's a difference between hydration and emollients that I don't see too many people speaking of, and it's notable. So hydration is when something has a watery nature. Emollient means it has more of a moisturizing feeling. There's probably a little bit more of an oil in it. You can have products that are both moisturizing and hydrating without a problem, but I feel that these are perhaps a teeny bit moisturizing, but more hydrating. And as you can see, it's easy to move around. Let's talk about the Reboot. This is almost done. I don't know if you caught that. There is more of a thickness to this than the Kogan Dough. It's moving a little bit slower. It's almost like it's whipped, but it doesn't have a whipped texture. There's a thickness to it, but it doesn't feel thick and heavy. And I believe that's because it's also hydrating. Could there be moisturizer in here? Yeah. Could there be some emollients in here? Yes, but it's not heavy like emollients can be. It feels texturally very much the same when I do this to the Coke and Dough. Now the Surratt actually feels a bit more dry. I don't find it to be hydrating. If anything, there might be a little bit of viscosity to it. So in between the fingers, it feels more cushiony. And I think that's why it doesn't spread as well as the other two, because it doesn't have the same kind of viscosity. So I'm going to apply just how they say, a couple of drops. And today the dropper is working fine. Drop. Oh, now it's not. Ow, ow, ow. Shake it up. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Plus I have this. Starts at the center of the face. Now the finish of it, they say, is dewy. I had worn it the first day and it was quite dewy, as you saw in the video. The second day, I had put this on a good hour after I had put on my sunscreen, where right now it's like 20 minutes since I put on my sunscreen. And the finish was quite different because the sunscreen had really, really settled in. So I think the finish you get will vary based on your prep, which is always the case, but on my hand, it doesn't look particularly dewy. This is a Sephora brush. It's a foundation brush. I don't know if they make it anymore. This is why I don't like using brushes. Look how my skin is moving. I'm imagining in my head all these microscopic pieces of elastin popping and breaking. Me no like. I don't like to apply foundation this way. I'll do it. I also feel that you kind of have to move fast with this because if it dries too much, it's hard to manipulate. So this is 3.5 drops. So that's fine. I have a dewy finish, but I started with a dewy, and the coverage it's fine. I still have things that I would rather take care of. Honestly, I'd rather have a little bit more. Now it's interesting that I didn't have a problem depressing this after I shook it. So maybe that's the key, but I have to say that it is inconsistent. So let's shake it again and put 3 more drops. Yeah, maybe shaking is the key. 2, 3. I would never pick this up with the brush because the idea to me is to spread it with the brush, and my guess is the brush would probably eat a good deal of it if I did it that way. Now, I'm just going to do my fingers so you can see how much, when the brush doesn't take any of it, you can get a lot further. So this is my preference, and this will just be an example to you of different ways. I feel that when you work with your fingers, there's a synchronicity between the heat of your face, the heat of your fingers. You can really feel what's going on. It's more of an organic experience. What can I say? Now, it does look kind of patchy to me. It's something you might not even notice, and I think that's because, and I noticed this before when I did it a few days ago, if you add on, the product is almost dry. So if you know right away you need more, I think start with more. But be quick about it if you can't start with more, because it feels to me that it's starting to set, and I don't feel that tightening feeling that I sometimes get when I know something is setting. It's just that when I go on with more, it doesn't seem to layer on top of itself very well. And look, that could be my sunscreens. I don't know. It's just my experience. Now, when I did the Surratt video, I powdered my face because it was a little too shiny and I wanted to go in with the Surratt blushes. Today, let's do a little bit of both. Let's do a little cream, let's do a little powder. So we're going to be doing this contour. Charlotte Tilbury. Burp, burp, burp. The sounds are really important, you guys. Burp, burp, burp. I don't really know why people contour up here, but okay. Burp, burp, burp. I did not get my Beauty Blender wet, so I'm just going to do this with a brush, same brush. And bring up, so you get a little oh, I'm going to need to, I think, get my Beauty Blender wet. Let me just do a rough blend first. All right, and I was thinking when I washed this off, if you're new here, my welcome, first of all. Thank you for being here. I hope that I am providing some good information for you that is useful so you can make decisions about whether or not you want to buy any of these products. I am 58, and my skin type I consider to be kind of normal, meaning it's not dry per se. It can get dehydrated though, but it's not oily. And I put a lot of products on. I put a lot of moisturizers. I layer thin moisturizers and thin essences. In the morning, the only particular active ingredient I use is vitamin C. And at night, I use a ton of stuff. And I use tons of tools and stuff that I'm testing. And that is me. I wear sunscreen that generally is kind of shiny, and that can affect the finish. And I, generally speaking, I have no problem at all with foundations lasting all day. I never look in the mirror. It's rare that I look in the mirror and think, oh my God, why did all this rub off? Okay, let's see how this works together. Works very nice. I have a nice little burn here from my NUA. So no problem with these products working together at all. Should we do, oh yes. I'm going to try this, but I'm going to mix it. So this is the new one. It only comes in a set right now. It's called Fenty Glow. And it's kind of bronzer-ish color. And I'm going to mix it with fine wine. Oh, summertime wine. And that's kind of their mix. I'm kind of coming to the conclusion, you guys, that I much prefer cream to liquid blushes than powder. There's many more colors available in powder. But because I'm getting to that age where my skin isn't completely taut, it's like I have always had very fat cheeks, and I think I'm starting to lose volume, so it's like fatness and incline. Oh, fatness and incline. It's beginning to get a little bit like a roller coaster on my face. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying sometimes I feel like my blush isn't blended in, and I do spend a lot of time blending my blush. I'm not someone who goes, boop, 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 blush is on. But I don't know. Maybe I'll feel differently, tomorrow. And that worked fine too. No problemo at all. Now I'm going to go in with concealer. I saw a video, I don't know, a while ago, somebody, I can't remember who, but they said one of the things they loved about this is you can blend and blend and blend and it doesn't go anywhere. And I tend to, because I need this coverage, I tend to blend until it looks like it's blended and then I leave things alone. So I tried it the last couple of days and I thought, wow, it actually does. It looks better when you blend and blend and blend it, largely because this color is extraordinarily yellow. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit so you can see that this color is egregiously wrong. That's okay. I'm going to go with my finger and start blending in. And instead of starting inside and blending out, I prefer to go up and down, so I'm not getting rid of that coverage that I need. And I'm going to spend way more time on this than would seem normal. Rub the fingers together to get rid of the excess. And up and down. And I'll be back in a few minutes. Now the yellow seems to have gone away, so that is a very interesting approach for this particular brand. Just keep on going. I don't feel that I have the lightness that I need There is something going on around my eyes right now. Now, the face to the touch, it doesn't feel wet. It doesn't feel tacky. It probably feels very similar to my sunscreens. I don't know if I feel that I need to powder my face before I go in with a powder blush. So I'm not going to. So this is a test. And I'm going to use a Surratt blush. Yes, I have already done creams, but I'm just going to add some. And I'm going to mix these two pretty colors. And again, that same video, the Surratt video, I spoke about these. These two and another that wasn't available were what Alana Davidson had used, and I thought it was so pretty. Just take some off on the hand and do an internal smile. I'm smiling internally. And I go right around here. So in between the eyebrow and the end of the eye. And for me, and my shape of face, I think this is a very nice way to apply blush. And high helps to bring sparkle to your eyes, and it's more youthful. There's no problem at all. It's blending nicely. And let's see, so we did a liquid, we did a cream with a blush, we did a powder, and there were no problems with any of them. And I think that's it, you guys. So my conclusions are this. The dewy nature of the dew drops, I think, depends on, for me, what you're wearing underneath it. So if I let my sunscreen dry for at least an hour, it's not matte by any means, but it's not this shiny. I only let this sink in for maybe 20 minutes to a half an hour, my sunscreens, which are shiny. And so this is the look. Yes, you can build it, but in my experience, it doesn't build that well. If you know how much you want, I suggest you start with that much and get it on your face, because it feels like it doesn't layer on top of itself all that fantastic. That could be a function of my sunscreens, could be a function of anything, but that's what I'm experiencing. Is it a skin-like finish? I think yes. Can it be built? Well, I just said it kind of builds on top of each other. In theory, it can, and it just depends on what you're using with it. So you get a variation of coverage, and I would say that if you just use 2 drops, the coverage wasn't too bad. And I do feel that you need to work pretty quickly with this, that it loses its viscosity, its ability to be spread. If you spend too much time, say, blending in this side, and then you go over here, it will blend in a little differently than the side where you started. So work, 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 and then work, 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 and then go back and finesse. And as you saw, I did have to get this to do a little bit more finessing, but I do think it's very pretty. I just want to go in with one of my Sucus, and then we'll do a sign out. I thought I came back after I did my lip, but I didn't. So this is what I did. I used this new Chantecaille powder. New to me, it's not new, but it might be limited edition. And it is so unusual. It is a balm powder. This is what it looks like, just hardly tapping. And I've already taken my Sucu brush, and I just did right here because it was a little too shiny. And now I'm going to do the under eyes, which have troughed, as I like to call it, just the teeniest bit. And I also said, well, the camera was not really, let me know if you like these inspired buys or made me buy it videos. I don't buy something just because somebody loves it. It takes them mentioning it several times or seeing several people talk about things and doing my own research, unless it's a new product that I'm buying for this channel. But on the main, this is not a new product. But Michelle had mentioned it so many times, I thought during the sale, this is the time for me to give it a try. And so I did. For instance, in the case of these Sucu lips, Alicia did that one video and that's all I needed. I knew I had to buy these. I just had to try them. I'm wearing one right now. And I think this is number 3. So comfortable, so lovely. Just, I love these. And yeah, let me know if you enjoy them, if you would like to see me do more inspired buys, which would be more makeup looks, or more made me buy it. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. And that is it, you guys. So this is my full-blown, after wearing this several days, the conclusions that I've come to, my observations. I still really like it. And I found that every day I wanted to put this on. And that says something to me. What do I think about this? I keep on pulling for it. I'm excited about it. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, please be safe and be smart. And I'm wishing you good health.